Hey everybody, how's it going? Let's talk about your home recording studio. Alright, here in episode 2, I am gonna just try to get a rough mix put together here. Nothing too fancy, we're just gonna do some levels and some panning, just to kind of get a good foundation, a bed that we can work on to progress the mix from here. Alright, let's get started. Okay, I think first things first, I am just going to click on Soundtrack, do a Control A to select everything. I am just gonna bring the faders down so everything comes down. Perfect. I'm gonna click here on the drum folder. I'm gonna reset it back to Unity. And let's just start with the drums, do the kick, snare, toms, then the hi-hat and overheads, and set an overall drum level. And we'll just continue on from there, all right? Here, let's see how this goes. All right, so I'm just gonna hit play here and start bringing up the kick. Are you not playing? Here, play. Play, I say. Okay. All right, you hear the kick start coming up, so I'm gonna crank it up until, yeah, see, the fader's at Unity here. And the kick is still peaking well below -6. Okay, I have a feeling what I'm gonna have to do here, and this is something I don't do very often, but I think since these were probably exported post fader. I tried to look around and it looks like Reaper doesn't exactly make it super easy to export stems pre-fader. So since these are all probably post fader, I think I'm just going to normalize everything so normalizing just takes the highest peak of a track and sets that to some value that you say it is. So usually either 0 or something below 0. So maybe I'll normalize to -0.3 or 0.5 or -1 or something. And yeah, so here let's click on some track. Let's do a Control A to select all the items. I'm gonna right click, and I think it's under item processing. Normalize items. Okay, there we go. So that made everything just kind of big and fat. So now everything's gonna be super loud if I were to turn it up. So it's a good thing all the faders are down, so we don't have anything to worry about. But I think that's just gonna essentially give me more play with my fader, so I don't have to just have it all the way up in order to get it where I want it. I'll be able to use it more in the kind of comfortable range, well below Unity. So this big old fat marking here marks Unity on the fader, and as long as I can kind of stay below that, just to make sure I have enough throw left in the fader if I have to crank something way up. So, all right, so I'm gonna turn that back down, and I'm gonna click on that item again so it unselects everything. And let's go back to the first, and let's hit play, and I'll just start bringing the kick up again. And yeah, so this is one of those times where I'm actually watching instead of listening so much. So let's bring this in so you can see it. So let's get it to where those biggest peaks are below -6. Yeah, somewhere in there. Okay. All right, cool. I'm happy with that. So let's move on to the snare. And yeah, I'm going to leave that kick centered. Same with the snare, going to leave it centered, but let's go ahead and start bringing up the snare. Yeah, somewhere in there. That doesn't sound too bad. It's funny, there's a little bit of bleed in there from the toms. A little realism from EZdrummer. Okay, all right, I'm all right with that. So now, and since I know this part of the song, let me pause it right here. I know this part of the song has toms in it. And I can see on the toms here, so let's select just a selection where the toms are going. And I'm gonna put it on loop, so we can just kind of keep looping that part. I'm going to bring the toms up until they're about on par with the snare or so, somewhere in there. Okay, yeah, I think somewhere in there. Okay, that's cool. All right, let's move on to the, and so those toms are stereo, so I don't have to pan them, since it would be 2 rack toms and a floor tom or something like that, that are kind of spread around the stereo field. And so since he exported them, all the toms into one stereo track, so I don't really have any control over the panning of where the toms are in the stereo field, but also I don't have to pan this track at all. I'll just leave it how it is. That panning is already baked into the stereo track. Okay, so let's move on to the hi-hat. And let's see if we can bring that in. Of course, there's no hi-hat in this part, so let's go back to a spot where there is a hi-hat. Not too crazy about that hi-hat sound, but we'll see what we can do. Whoa, it's kind of cutting out on me there. That's kind of weird. Oh, you know what? The reason it's cutting out on me, if you look up here, I'm using Wave Out. I was fiddling with something earlier, so I'm still using the integrated audio chip on my motherboard. So I don't want to do that. I want to use my good interface here. So let's go back to options, let's go to preferences, let's go to device, and not Wave Out. I want to use ASIO, Fireface USB, 1 through 18, 1 through 18. Since I believe that these files are recorded in 44.1, so I'm not going to change the sample rate. So let's do 44 dot, whoops, I can't put a dot, 44,100. And block size of 128 should be fine. Okay, and we'll say okay. And hopefully, all right, cool. Okay, so we got the hi-hat in there. Let's get the hi-hat. Let's make it like, I don't know, like 30% left maybe. Let's get the hi-hat off to one side. Maybe 40%. All right, let's bring it down to nothing. Let's bring it back in. All right, yeah, that's about as high as I want, because the hi-hat's also going to be in the overheads. Okay, so let's bring the overheads in. Same deal, just click on them here, hit play, and let's see what happens. Yeah, so it starts bringing in some room. You can hit the cymbals. Little sizzly there. Okay, yeah, I think I'm okay with that. Okay, yeah, that's fine for just kind of a rough drum mix there. So collapse the drums there so that they're out of the way. So the bass is next. All right, so again, bass, just gonna leave straight up the middle, not gonna pan it. Generally, like for me, kick, snare, bass, and like a lead vocal, those are all things that I just put straight up the middle, and don't try to pan one side to the other, because you know, low frequency things like a kick and a bass, a kick drum and a bass guitar, you don't really want to get those lopsided over to one side to the other. And it's kind of the higher frequency things you can have a little more fun with, you know, placing them out to the sides and everything. So here, let's bring the bass in. Okay, I think I'm be just a little bit better. Okay. All right, cool. All right, now let's move on to the rhythm guitars. We have a rhythm left and a rhythm right. I think these two, since it looks like they're probably playing in unison, and they're just there so I can pan them in the stereo field to give it some texture, I'm gonna insert a new track. And I think I'm going to just say rhythm guitar folder, and let's just put both of these guitars in a folder together. Okay, and I think what I'm going to do is bring the rhythm guitar volume all the way down, select both of these, double click, bring them both to unity, and now I'm controlling the volume of both of these with just this folder here. So yeah, here, let's take a listen. Okay. All right, yeah, and I do want to spread those out. So let's take the rhythm left and let's start panning it left, and let's get them out. Let's start at about 50% left and right for these two. And let's start there. Let's have a listen. Okay, okay, let's, oh wow, yeah, it says they clip. Let's clear that clip indicator. Let's get them out a little wider. So that was 50%, so let's try like 75%. So let's hear that. I like that better. Okay. Okay, yeah, I think I'm happy with that for right now. Although it still says that it's clipping. Is it really clipping? Let's see here. It is. Okay, so I think what I'm gonna have to do here with these two is here. Let me control click them both and then go up to the top of the waveform, and let's bring the overall volume down. So normalizing those was a little too much, so let's bring them down like 3 dB. And hopefully that'll keep our clippies away here. So let's go back here. Let's try it again. All right, there we go. All right, so let's move on to the lead guitars here real quick. All right, so it looks like this lead one has 2 times here in the song where it kind of comes into the focus. Well, 3 times, 4 times. Okay, so let's just get our selection here, and I'll just kind of loop this first one. Let's just start bringing that in and see what we end up with. You know, with those 2 electric guitars spread out to the sides and then this lead guitar just right up the middle, I don't know, it's leaving me a little empty here somehow, because I have a feeling those are probably the same guitar recorded through the same amp. You know, since this is just a pass through to get levels and panning, I'm not really going to try to do anything corrective yet, but it does kind of mush together, right? It kind of all blends together, and it makes the lead sound a little indistinct. So we can do some stuff with some EQ here later, but I think for now I might even want to set this to one side or the other, just a little bit at least, you know. Let's see what happens. So what have I got in there that's panned at all? Really the hi-hat is about the only thing. The hi-hat's over to the left. Let's see what happens if I just kind of like, let's push it over to the right a little bit. Okay, yeah. I mean, that's okay. I'll run with that for right now. And let's just kind of skip ahead to the other parts just to make sure that it isn't something radically different. Turn it down just a little. Okay, let's check out this next section here. Okay, and then here at the outro. Okay, yeah, so it's that same riff, and it sounds like it's same guitar, same amp on all 4 of those sections, so I'm just going to leave it there for now. And let's move on to lead 2. So let's find a place where lead 2 is playing. And I might have to zoom in a little bit here. Okay, yeah, so let's just play this and start bringing in lead 2. Okay, yeah, and this one, so there's no hi-hat over to the left. It's just the toms instead. We've got that other lead guitar just scooted over a little bit to the right. I think this one, I'm just kind of hearing it. I think I want it off to the side a ways. And so, yeah, let's just start playing with, let's pan it off to the left. There's some space over there still. And let's see what we end up with. Okay. Okay, and now that things are starting to kind of accumulate in the mix, I can start to tell, like, yeah, I think the drums are a little too loud, the kick and the snare, at least, are a little too loud, so I am going to go back up there to the drum folder. Let's expand him. I'm going to back the kick off a little bit. And then the snare. Okay, yeah, fair enough. All right, let's see, where were we? We got lead 1 and lead 2. So now we have these clean guitar parts, of which there are 2, although I could have sworn in a previous iteration of this mix there were 3. I thought there was a left, a center, and a right. Let's see what we end up with here. Okay, so yeah, here let's go through this here where there's a lot more of it. Let's highlight that. I got loop on still. Let's play from there. Well, let's put the playhead there first. Okay, let's hear what the other one sounds like as well. Yeah, since these two guitars are, they're kind of syncopated with each other, I think I want them. I want them away from each other in the stereo field. They're both right in the middle right now. Nah, I don't like that a whole lot. They're kind of clobbering each other a little bit since they're, you got that one playing the upbeats, you got the other one kind of playing more steady kind of quarter notes or whatever, half notes, whatever it is. Let's see if we can kind of find a little space on one side for one, find a little space on the other side for the other. Let's see what we can come up with here. I think I'll start with that upbeat one. Let's get him left, put him left. All right, let's get the other one right. Let's bring that one in towards center. That one doesn't seem to want to be any farther than about 30% off center. Now this guy, is that too far left? Let's bring him in a little bit. Maybe 50%. Okay, yeah, I might change my mind on that a little bit later, but I think for now that at least kind of gets them away from each other in the stereo field. So yeah, here, let's grab this verse fills, which is actually guitar, not vocal. Let's put it here. I'll get rid of the track that I added. Okay, yeah, so let's hear that along with these other ones. Where am I? There I am. Okay. Yeah, see, this is what I was thinking. So, with this clean left, although I don't really, I'm just going to call these clean 1, clean 2, and clean 3 for my own sanity, because that might not be where they end up panned. And then let's just call this clean 3. Okay, so this one that I had 30% right, I think I'm going to bring it in more towards center. So let's get them maybe 10 or 15%. Let's hear that. And then I think I'm going to take this clean 3, I'm going to put him way out on the right and see what happens. Let's hear this. The loop is on. There we go. So I got into like 100% right. Okay, I like it. And now that makes me want to put clean 1 just a little bit farther left. So let's get him let's put him back to 75. Or as close as I can get to 75. 76, okay. Yeah, okay. Now we have this. Yeah, so now that there's room for all 3 of those, we got, you know, that kind of one play in the upbeats, that kind of ska rhythm. It is way over to the left, with the one that's playing kind of more of a straight rhythm is just a little bit right of center, and then the one that's just playing those little single note, sustained note fills, we got him way over to the right. I like that. I think that creates a good kind of texture, a good spaciousness, I guess, and you can hear all 3 of them and what all 3 parts are doing. Hey everybody, so as I came to start editing this, this episode got really long. It's about 45-46 minutes long, so I'm just going to go ahead and end this one here, and we'll be back next week with part 2 of the levels and panning rough mix. Alright, I'll see you guys then.